His master was twisting his leg, slowly, watching his face for the moment it would break. And the young slave just looked up and said calmly, "If you keep going, you will break it." No fear, no begging. The master kept twisting. The bone snapped, and the slave, without raising his voice, simply said, "There, I told you it would break." How does a man in chains stay calmer than the man holding the whip? How do you own nothing, control nothing, and still be freer than everyone around you? That is the question, and the answer is a 3-step code that most people will never learn. His name was Epictetus. He was born into slavery in the 1st century in a corner of the Roman Empire to a mother who was also a slave. He did not choose his birth. He did not choose his master. He did not choose the injury that left him crippled for the rest of his life. He controlled almost nothing about his own existence. And yet, centuries later, emperors would quote him. Free men with everything would read his words and feel poor by comparison. Think about that. A man who owned nothing became the teacher of men who owned the world. But here is what almost no one realizes. Epictetus did not become calm because his life got easier. His life never got easier. He became calm because he discovered something about the human mind that the powerful had completely missed. Picture him as a young man in Rome, dragging a ruined leg through the streets, beaten, owned, property in the eyes of the law. And somewhere in that suffering, he noticed something strange. He noticed that his master could command his body, but not his mind. They could chain his hands. They could not chain his judgment. They could break his leg. They could not force him to be afraid. That gap, that tiny sliver of space between what happened to him and how he responded, became the entire foundation of his philosophy. He realized that every single human being alive is standing in that same gap and does not know it, including you. And this is where it gets strange, because the moment he understood that gap, a slave became more powerful than the men who owned him. But understanding it was only the beginning. Living inside it, that would take everything he had. Here is the trap that every person falls into, and it is the reason your mind spirals daily. You believe your suffering comes from the world, the traffic, the rude message, the rejection, the number in your bank account. You believe these things reach into your chest and squeeze. But Epictetus saw the truth, and it is uncomfortable. He said it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Read that again slowly. The event does not carry the pain. You add the pain. You add the story. You add the meaning. And then you suffer from the meaning you added and blame the event. You have felt this. Think about the last time your phone buzzed and your stomach dropped before you even read the message. Nothing had happened yet. You had no information, and still, your whole body reacted because your mind had already written 3 endings, all of them bad. That is the spiral. That is the daily bleeding of your peace, drop by drop, over things that never even happened. The morning you did not want to get up and lay there rehearsing every way the day could go wrong. The conversation you replayed 40 times, each time flinching at the same words. The decision you avoided for weeks because your mind kept painting the disaster. None of that came from the world. All of it came from the space between the event and your response. The exact space Epictetus found while his leg was being broken. But now comes the hard part, the part that separates the people who read this and nod from the people who actually change. Because knowing about that gap does not save you. Epictetus knew a secret that made the gap usable. He built a code, 3 steps. The first step is so simple that people dismiss it, and so powerful that the ones who master it stop losing their minds entirely. He was about to hand his students a tool that would outlive the Roman Empire itself, and most of them were not ready to hear it. Step 1. Divide the world into 2 piles. This sounds childish. It is the most important mental move you will ever make. Epictetus taught that in every moment of your life, there are things within your control and things outside your control, and almost all of your suffering comes from confusing the two. What is in your control? A shockingly short list. Your judgments, your choices, your effort, your response. What is outside your control? Nearly everything else. Other people, their opinions, the past, the outcome, your reputation, whether the message gets a reply, whether the plan works, whether your body stays young, whether people stay, Now watch what happens when you get this wrong. You pour your energy into the second pile. You try to control what people think of you. You try to control the outcome. You try to control other human beings who have their own minds. And because you cannot, you feel powerless, anxious, and exhausted. You are fighting a war you can never win every single day and calling it life. Epictetus said, "Stop. Take your hands off what is not yours. Grip only what is." And here is the turning point, the thing that took a broken slave and made him unshakable. The moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, an enormous amount of energy comes flooding back to you. The energy you were wasting on the storm, you can now spend on the one thing that was always yours, your response. This is step 2. Once you know what you control, you take radical ownership of it, not the event, the response. Someone insults you? The insult is theirs. The reaction is yours. Epictetus said if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. That word, complicit, is brutal. It means the anger did not just happen to you. Some part of you agreed to it. And if you can agree to it, you can decline it. Now here is where modern science quietly bows to a man from 2,000 years ago. Neuroscientists studying emotion have found there is a gap, a real measurable delay between a stimulus and your full emotional response. Between the trigger and the reaction, there is a window. Psychologists today build entire therapies around it. They call it cognitive reappraisal, the practice of changing your interpretation of an event to change its emotional charge. It is, almost word for word, what Epictetus taught while dragging a ruined leg through Rome. The event is neutral. Your judgment gives it power. Change the judgment, and you change the suffering. This is not soft comfort. This is mechanical. It works the way a lever works. And it leads to the third step, the one that turns philosophy into freedom. Epictetus said, "Do not demand that things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will go on well." Step 3 is to meet reality without resistance, not passive surrender, something far stronger. You act with everything you have on what you control, and then you release your grip on the result completely. You do your part fully. The universe does the rest. And you make peace with whatever comes because that part was never yours to begin with. So, now we return to the question we started with. How did a man in chains stay calmer than the man holding the whip? Now you know, because the master had staked his entire peace on things outside himself, on obedience, on control, on the body of another man. And the slave had staked his peace on the one territory no one could invade, his own mind. The master was the true prisoner. He just did not know it. And here is the uncomfortable mirror. Most people today live exactly like that master, free by law, enslaved by their own reactions, handing the keys to their peace to anyone with a phone and an opinion. But you do not have to. So let me give you the practice. Tonight, before you sleep, do this. Take the thing that ate at you today, the worry, the comment, the failure. Hold it up and ask one question. Is this in my control or not? If it is not, say the words out loud. This is not mine. And set it down. Physically feel your hands opening. If it is in your control, ask the only question that matters. What is my next response? Not the outcome, the response. Then do that and release the rest. Do this every night for 1 week. At first, it will feel mechanical, almost fake. Keep going, because slowly something shifts. The gap between what happens and how you feel begins to widen, and in that widening space, you will find the exact freedom that a crippled slave found 2,000 years ago, the freedom that no one can break because no one can reach it. Here is the one line to carry with you. You will never control what happens to you. You will always control what it means. Epictetus lost his freedom, his body, and every comfort a human can lose, and still walked through the world unshaken because he guarded the only thing that was ever truly his. That same door is standing open inside you right now. The only question is whether you walk through it or keep handing the keys away. If this reached something in you, subscribe and stay, because the mind you are building is the only thing you get to keep.